ellos cambiaron algunos jugadores mucho más frescos. Hemos estado muy estable como equipo, pero luego en el área es una cuestión de duelo, una cuestión de defender ese centro, ese duelo, ese evitar ese disparo, ese chute, bloquearlo.
But Edison recovers to make the save.
Mas acima de tudo, com mais ou menos detalhe, eu acho que o mais importante foi e será sempre a capacidade que a equipa teve de lutar e manter-se no jogo.
Y al final encontramos el gol.
Place of Bernardo Silva has come loose and fired into the net by Rodri.
Es bueno, al final cuando vi que había sido gol, la explosión de alegría fue tremenda, fue además a nivel colectivo, ¿no? De cuando marcas un gol tan importante con tus compañeros.
En general no fue un partido fluido, pero es normal por la tensión de la final. Al final sufrimos mucho porque ellos nos apretaron, tuvieron dos ocasiones muy claras.
¡Cabezaño! ¡Madre mía!
Pero en las finales, por la experiencia que tengo, en el campo o fuera, he visto tantas que para ganar al portero te tiene que hacer aquella parada, o aquellas dos paradas para ganar, si no, no ganas. El portero las tiene que parar.
By the penalty spot, that goes out to the back post. Gossens with the header, it's nodded towards the line and it's turned out of play. It ricochets around and the final touch is out of play for a corner.
Y Ederson este año las paró y nos llevó a la victoria.
Manchester City just have to defend this corner. Here comes the corner flicked on. Ederson saves! And Manchester City win the Champions League!
Cuando pitó el final, empecé a gritar y además tenemos una imagen y todos empezamos a correr en la misma dirección, que es la portería rival, donde están nuestros aficionados. Y yo empecé a correr en línea recta, no me lo podía creer. Es un sueño cumplido y al final, después de tanto tiempo, de tantas no fracasos, porque al final el fútbol, cuando lo intentas, pero sí que por poco no haberlo conseguido, y ya una vez pues tienes ese premio, pues evidentemente el cuerpo se libera y las emociones, ¿no?
First time winners of the competition in a tactical battle in Istanbul. City not just the Champions League winners, they have won the treble. Kings of Europe for the first time.
La primera vez que uno gana la Champions siempre es muy complicada emocionalmente, mucho. Probablemente si tuviéramos la suerte de jugar otra en los próximos años sería un pelín diferente, pero emocionalmente sabíamos que sería dura y así fue, pero por suerte la sacamos. Mira, todos son procesos. Cuando nos llegamos hace 7 años, la gente podía decir que en Manchester City teníamos que ganar, probablemente por mi pasado con otros equipos, pero nunca tenía esa sensación. Sí que después de ganar 4 Premier League, 5 Premier Leagues, y que todo el mundo diciendo que nada sería completo sin ganar la Champions League, podíamos aceptar que ya era así, pero era por ganar esas 5 Premier League anteriormente. Habíamos llegado a una final en que no estuvimos del todo bien, a otras semifinales, estábamos la sensación de estar muy cerca. Pero siempre lo hablábamos, no era cuestión de llegar a esta final y luego ya desaparecer. Lo importante es que durante mucho tiempo hemos estado allí. Y cuando estás mucho tiempo allí, al final una vez cae y una vez llega. Con Kevin es el único jugador que cuando yo llegué ya estaba. Los demás, Gundogan vino cuando llegamos, John Stones cuando llegamos, pero Kevin era el único que estaba de la anterior etapa. Y es especial la relación por la que tenemos, hemos vivido muchas cosas juntos, nos hemos peleado mucho, hemos abrazado mucho y era un momento, claro que sí, de llegar. We did it. La realidad es esta, ya la hicimos. Sí que en Madrid es la competición favorita, preferida, es la Champions League. Para la Europa League es el Sevilla. Lo que ha hecho este club en esta competición es de chapó. es impresionante. Entonces se conoce muy bien cómo jugar competiciones europeas y será una muy buena final. Me alegro mucho jugar contra el Sevilla y contra, en este caso, Mendilibar, de volverlo a ver después de tanto tiempo.
Va a ser un torneo muy especial que queremos ganar.
Champions of Europe and treble winners here in Istanbul.
7 years fighting within it.
The title that we won, they give you the chance to fight for new ones.
They've done it again. Sevilla, for the 7th time, winners of the Europa League. Goal! The Blues are in dreamland!
I love it to play Super Cup, European Super Cup. First because we as a club, we never won it.
What a great goal! A wonderful night for City.
When the Champions League give you this opportunity, it's a pleasure to go to Athens and play there. I love it.
Hello and welcome to Matchday Live from Athens. We are in one of the most historical cities in the world for what is yet another historical moment for City as we take part in our first ever Super Cup. And we will be looking to add to our treble winning trophy haul with victory against Sevilla in the hunt for some Super Cup silverware. Come on, City! 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 But first, a little history on the Super Cup and how it came to be. The UEFA Super Cup's inception mirrored that of the European Champions Club Cup, which arose when French newspaper L'Équipe proclaimed Stade de Reims Champagne as Europe's premier club side.
Similarly, the idea of the Super Cup first emerged when Anton Wittkamp, a journalist for the Telegraph in the Netherlands, conceived the concept of determining the top European club whilst also testing out the prowess of Ajax in the era of total football. But it's all Greek to me.
The first UEFA-sanctioned Super Cup matches took place in January 1974, with AC Milan defeating Ajax 1-0 at the San Siro. Ajax exacted revenge with a resounding 6-0 victory in the return leg. However, it took some time for the competition to gain momentum, with some years seeing no matches due to scheduling conflicts.
From 1998 until 2012, the UEFA Super Cup found itself a permanent home in Monaco, serving as the season opener. After the conclusion of the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, the competition evolved to feature the winners of both the Champions League and the UEFA Cup. But you know yourself, the UEFA Cup is now known as the Europa League.
Today, the Super Cup is contested in different European cities each year, symbolising a new chapter in football's grand history. Welcome to Athens in Greece.
Welcome to the Super Cup 2023.
And welcome to Matchday Live.
Hello and welcome to Matchday Live for our first ever Super Cup final. Of course, today we are taking on Sevilla. They've had 6 Super Cup finals before, but they've only won just the one, and that was back in 2006. So the Blues will, of course, be looking to add to their treble haul tonight, picking up another trophy. And in the studio, we have our own magnificent treble of guests joining us this evening. It is Michael Brown, Steph Houghton and Shaun Goater. Now, we will be bringing you the team news the second we're allowed. It's in about a minute's time, actually. Matchday Live is always the first place to get your team news. And do you know what? Keep it quiet. I'm going to give you an exclusive. Our new defender, Guardiola, starts tonight. Don't tell anybody I told you, because we're not allowed. 45 seconds till we can give you the full team. But how are we all, Shaun? Are you well?
Very well. Really looking forward to this one. But yeah, just excited about it.
Steph, lovely to see you. You've been very busy lately with all the World Cup covering and you're back in training. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks, but I wouldn't want it any other way to be able to watch games and back into training as well. But the last few days were tough, but fully rested for tonight anyway.
Lovely to see you. And Michael, we usually have you locked in a cupboard somewhere. We let you out.
It's nice to come out, isn't it? Normally I'm around doing the commentary here, there and everywhere. So a nice change, looking forward to it. But Steph's had a little bit of a moan about pre-season already, so we'll get that out of the way. But now it's great to be on the sofa.
It won't get back, though. It won't get back.
No, never.
Thank you so much, all of you, for being here tonight. Thank you for joining us on Matchday Live. Oh, we've got a very, very happy FG. We sent him over to Greece. He's travelling the world. He's going to bring us the updates from pitchside this evening. Hey, FG!
Hello, Natalie. Hello, everyone in the studio. Well, as Natalie said, we have got the team news here first on Matchday Live, and she did give away a little bit of a secret, but I will give away the rest of the starting lineup. So in goal for City is the ever-present Ederson. Kyle Walker is our captain, and then we have Akanji, and as Natalie said, our new signing Vardiol. Nathan Ake is in. Rodri, Kovacic, Foden, and a start for Cole Palmer, Jack Grealish, and of course our number 9, Erling Haaland. On the bench for City today is Ortega, Carson, Diaz, which is great to see him back, Phillips, John Stones, Emerick Laporte, Julian Alvarez, Oscar Bob, Sergio Gomez, Maxi Perrone, Rico Lewis, and James McAtee. Joining me in Athens is Manchester City legend Shaun Phillips, looking incredibly dapper, and equally as dapper Nedum Onuoha. Right, we've seen the team. Let's start with the big news. Vardiol starts. What a time to be alive, Nedum.
Yeah, it's not bad when he first starts in the Super Cup, is it? Yeah, it's good to see him out there. I'll be interested to see how he sort of adapts within the team. He's going to be playing left of centre. He's going to be playing left back because Ake's in there as well, isn't it? So I think it should be really interesting. But I'm excited to see him because this is, one of the best talents in world football.
He came on for a little cameo against Burnley, Shaun. He looked very comfortable. We only saw him a little bit, but I mean, I don't know if it's just a City fan thing or just a football fan thing. Just gets super excited every time he makes a pass or something.
Yeah, I think he looked comfortable, but I think you come on in a Premier League game for your first game, it's hard to really tell or see much, because even for players that's played sometimes, coming off the bench and coming into a team, especially like City, it's hard to show what you've really got. But I think we know he's a fantastic player, as Nedum just said, and really looking forward to watching him today.
We are indeed. Now you can see the Champions League trophy we've got here, which is the reason we have managed to get to our first Super Cup final. And one man who has already won the Super Cup, and is also a reason for us winning that final with his goal, was Rodri. Nedum. He starts, of course. Is he pretty much the first name on the team sheet at the minute?
Well, you never know with Pep, but listen, as long as his name's in there, I'm very, very happy. He is one of the best in the world. The fact that he scored the winner in the Champions League final last year, amazing. What a season he had. Was he player of the tournament as well? Not bad for a number 6, is it? And I think the fact that he's won this tournament before, I think that will help. I think the more experience you can have in terms of occasions like this, because most people have never experienced this. Most people will never experience this. And he can try and explain what it's going to be about, how it's going to feel, best way to prepare. And obviously Pep's done it as well. But yeah, Rodri, come on, he's the guy, isn't he?
He is the guy, and he was the guy for not just only Pep and for City at Burnley, for FPL owners. I mean, I'm speaking to Natalie in the studio. Maybe you should put Rodri in your FPL team. He played well at Burnley, didn't he? And he got himself on the score sheet again.
Yeah, he's just a fantastic all-round player. I think when you watch the difference with City when he's not on the pitch, it seems to be more movement. It looks more fluent. He dictates, he controls, and he does the work that people don't see just by his positioning and his smart thinking. And it's great to have him in there.
Yeah, I've got to say as well, I'm sure Nat's watching. She did beat me in FPL this week, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Shout out to Nat. You did what you needed to do.
I would actually like to know about the GOAT's FPL score, but we will come back to that in a little bit. Let's talk about Mateo Kovacic real quick. What a player.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I think he's adapted really well, and I think there's more to come from him, and the fact he can be trusted in this sort of big occasion after being at the club for literally, 3 weeks, if that, maybe 4. I think he's a fantastic signing. But then again, are we surprised he came from Real Madrid? He's been at Chelsea, he's won a Champions League before. This isn't his first Super Cup either, is it? So, it's not a bad addition to add to an already great squad.
He won't be phased, Shaun, and neither will probably a lot of the players, because it's familiar territory playing in big games for this club. But these players haven't won this tournament yet, and there are some players, they'll be desperate to get a trophy tonight, won't they?
Of course, you're always desperate, especially when the trophy's in front of you. You're always, no matter how many you got, you're going to want to be desperate to win it again. But for me, this it's massive for them. It's very important. But I think after winning the Champions League, I think they'll all be mentally in the right headspace to come into this game, to win this game as well. And they know they just need to perform to the ability people know, and hopefully it should be enough. But football's a funny game.
Yeah, and do you know the thing about City, which probably goes unmentioned, is that whoever they play against, that team will never be complacent, because this is always a very, very big game for them. I think we even look at, say, Arsenal playing in the Community Shield. They won that game. And you heard Arteta say how, such a big win to win at Wembley and to beat this Man City side. That's the feeling that everyone has when they play against them. And, given the fact they're treble winners, I expect the same from Seville today. But, there's a reason why this trophy's here right next to us now.
Now, we have to talk about our attack. We normally do talk about our number 9, but let's talk about a man who's just stepped in to the starting 11 today. Perhaps a little bit surprising, but not so much if you watched him in the Community Shield. That's Cole Palmer.
I wouldn't say you see over the years, Pep plays people that earns the right to play, and I think the way he came on in a Community Shield, he gave something different. He was aggressive. The way he took his goal, he seems to be in a very confident place. So I think he deserves the chance he's got. And for me, coming through the academy myself, I really, really hope he takes it, because he has bags of ability to deliver on the big stages.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm sure it would have been close as well. Obviously, Cole's just scored at Wembley. That's quite a nice thing to have on your CV. But I'm sure, with James McAtee as well, he would have thought maybe he's going to be in the mix. Oscar Bob as well. It's good to see the academy's churning out that talent. And I think these guys are really well sought after around the world. So the fact that it's still here, I think it means a lot for the football club.
It absolutely does mean a lot. Let's hope that we have sort of another Cole Palmer-like goal here tonight.
Maybe a couple.
Or even a Lauren Hemp-like goal, which we saw this morning for the Lionesses. Congratulations, Steph. Steph's in the studio, which is amazing. I'm sure we'll get her reaction too. Let's head back there now.
Yeah, we certainly will. Thank you very much, gents. Thanks for the shout out there. Nedum, you look shocked that I beat you in FPL. Let's not forget who the champion was. I don't know why FG's dishing out tips there. Don't listen to anything FG says about FPL. But they are, of course, they gave us the team news there. So, Michael, first of all, the team structure looks fairly obvious, but there is a few new names in there. Could you talk us through where you think everybody is going to be?
Well, we can try, can't we? As the guy said in that clip, is Nathan Ake going to play in the central defence, or is he going to be at left back? We've seen Guardiola come on in that left back position, left of a 3, left of a 4. I think still everybody's uncertain how they want to actually interpret Pep Guardiola's obviously system. I think the difference is who's going to step in and make that extra midfield play. He's gone with an extra one with Kovacic alongside Rodri as well. Will Phil Foden play in that midfield role? Or will it be Cole Palmer, or Cole Palmer go on the wide areas? So you're asking me to talk it through. It's Pep Guardiola, something different that we're not going to see possibly someone join in that midfield area. So I think what we do know is Haaland will be probably in a number 9 position. But,
and Edison will probably be in goal.
Edison could be in and around that, spraying passes. So again, we've gone round the houses, but quite clear, I think, what I mean. But it will be fascinating and slightly different. So it'll be really important. We talk about Cole Palmer, don't we? What he can bring. And I feel he's got to take these opportunities, these chances. There was a couple of rumours whether he'd go and gain experience to play every single week somewhere else. But obviously, Riyad Mahrez has left the football club, and maybe a position there that he can play more minutes. So it's an unbelievable squad. They're taking it very, very seriously. But I don't know whether it's the be-all and end-all like it was the last time we were in the European competition of the Champions League final.
I think it's a really great point about Cole Palmer. When you heard about the Bernardo Silva injury and the sort of situation with the squad currently, they kind of started thinking, would Cole Palmer be starting? Would he be playing tonight? And exactly like Brownie says, Steph, it feels like an amazing opportunity for him tonight to show that, well, could he be a Mahrez replacement? Could he be a starter for this team?
There's been so much talk about him for a number of seasons now, since he kind of was developing through the academy, and alongside Phil Foden, they always kind of said when we've been around the training ground, he would be the next one to step up. So it's fantastic that he can get a start in a Super Cup in a major final for Manchester City. And there's going to be a little bit more pressure on him because of Mahrez is leaving, and there's like a little bit of like, okay, can you take your place? Can you go and produce the quality that we've seen, not just in the Community Shield, but in the European Championships for England? He was amazing that tournament in that right wing position. So I hope he really does have a good game. But we've seen glimpses of him. It's now getting that consistency when you're a young player.
Definitely. Steph mentioned Phil Foden there as well. We know how much you love Phil Foden, Shaun. Do you think, obviously with Kevin De Bruyne's injury as well, is this the time for Phil to claim the centre as his own, or do you still prefer him more out on the right or out wide?
I just love Foden on the pitch, period. Foden is real quality. I do prefer him central because, again, I think what he brings to the team is his ability to drive.
So you're saying Pep's been playing him out of position then, Shaun? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that whenever he's on the field, whenever he's on the field as well. No,
that's a nice one for you to sit earlier.
No,
just give you that one. It's so tough, isn't it?
Yeah, my preference with Foden is if he plays central. And it's because his ability to drive at teams, and he can go right, he can go left, and once he breaks lines, it just creates so much. It's a difference with you got De Bruyne who can kill a defense with a split and pass. I think Foden is somebody that can kill a defense with the dribble, meaning going and committing combinations and then sliding players. So I prefer him central, but he does an awesome job playing wide as well.
Through, though, you felt like that was going to be his position, wasn't it? In those advanced positions, in and eight, getting on the half turn, driving forward. He's exciting to watch. I think it's there for all to see, isn't it?
Well, that's exactly. I mean, we think about back to the goal that we scored. He receives the ball and he gets turned. The defender tries to sort of step in front and pinch it, and he gets half turned. And once he gets half turned and he starts driving forward, this is what Foden. I love when he's central because this is what he brings. He just, and I know the forwards are also thinking, I'm here, I'm free, find me, and he's just committing players. So when he's out wide, he does an awesome job, but I do like him central. That's the problem.
Do you think that's in the maturity, though? Do you know when we look at and he brings a young player through, do you sort of say, well, Cole Palmer, he could easily play in the 8, but he has to go and learn the role and the responsibility out wide, and then over time he'd be able to come into those positions.
I think it develops players, trying different positions, and especially with them two lads that we're speaking about, I think to be able to understand different positions, probably when they do eventually maybe go into midfield, they appreciate what the wingers need. Or
do you think it's the responsibility, though, of obviously the other stuff in the midfield area where you try and stay solid? So the younger players sort of go, well, we can leave him there till he understands the role.
I think Pep kind of said that between the lines, as I think he spoke about a lot with Phil in terms of his rhythm on and off the ball, and obviously the way that City plays sometimes, because we have so much of the ball, them transitional moments are key, and that's why Rodri's been amazing. So I think it is just learning that role, and it's so specific. You've got like the likes of Gundogan that did it amazing last year, and De Bruyne, who's probably one of the best in the world at the position that he plays. I think to live up to that standard's hard, but they're so young, they will learn every single day playing with these players and playing in matches like this.
Yeah, getting the opportunity tonight, obviously, with the current situation as well. And making up the midfield as well, Brownie, obviously Kovacic has come in, looks like he's been at this team for months. Like, I can't believe how easily he seems to have slotted in.
Do you know, when I covered him some of his games last season, and I'm looking and thinking he's one I really liked, that he actually takes the ball really comfortable. He wants to play forward wherever possible. Doesn't matter if somebody's in and around him. And I think in this team, with the way they keep the ball, he's going to get better and better, understand the role a little bit more, and his confidence will grow. So I think it's a really great addition at the right money. I think it's fantastic from the football club in regards to the recruitment. We just look at now at midfield positions, transfers all around the world at the moment in the Premier League. It looks a really good deal, doesn't it? And someone who's really going to get better and better. And I think it allows, when you have him in there as well, that when we go back to Burnley, is who's going to be doing the tracking back, etc., who's going to be make it a little bit more solid. And I feel like he can do that with Rodri, and you might see the full-backs or a Kyle Walker go right on a little bit more if you've got that more protection.
And he's got 3 Super Cups already before this.
That's easy.
Yeah. It's easy for him, isn't it? Yeah.
They did look relaxed, but I mean, that is relaxed to him.
Yeah. Right. He's like, don't worry, lads, I've only got 3 of these. So that is your starting 11. You can see across the bottom of your screen now. If you would like to ask our guests any questions, as always, we have a dedicated WhatsApp number for you. It is on the screen now. You can send us a WhatsApp and ask them anything whatsoever. I love it. You guys always come up with really creative questions. So get them in and I'll try and get through as many as I possibly can, as always. Right, we're going to make him work hard. We're going to go back over now to Greece. FG is pitchside and he's going to be letting us know the Sevilla team for tonight.
Thank you, Natalie, for once again trying to make me work hard. Here is the Sevilla lineup, our opponents for today's game. The goalkeeper is Bonu, and then we are with Jesus Navas, who is a captain and a former City player. We have Bade, Gudelj, Acuna, Jordan, Rakitic, Oliver Torres, Ocampos, Lamela and En Nesiri. back pitchside, we've seen the Sevilla team. There's only one place to start. I think it's only right, Nedum, and that's Jesus Navas, who we saw have a nice spell in Manchester at some point, and is a legend at Sevilla.
Yeah, he is. He's a massive legend. I think he's played so many games there. That's the majority of his career. Obviously, we saw him at City, but it's funny to see him, like, when I was younger, seeing him as a winger, and he was like a flying winger, and then all of a sudden he decided to be a fullback. Like, what a decision that is. But, you know, I think it makes for a great battle between him and Jack. And even though Jack is younger, probably a bit stronger, maybe as fast, what he's got is experience. So it's going to be a very, very interesting battle on that side.
How will Jack be feeling as a winger, Shaun, going up against Jesus Navas? Do you think he'll fancy his chances today?
I think you got to. I think as a winger, he's got to go into this game thinking, every time I get the ball, I'm going to go past you, or you're not going to get the ball off me, or I'm going to draw a foul to give us more advantage, doing a little bit of respite on the defenders. So I think if he doesn't go in with that confident, then it's going to be harder for him. But as long as he keeps his confidence high, and we all know Jack, that he's a confident boy, so I think it'll be just fine. But like Nedum said, it's going to be a very interesting challenge.
It is indeed. Let's stick with the fullback talk, and let's go to the other side. We touched on Cole Palmer when we saw the Man City team. How do you think he's going to go up against World Cup winner, massively experienced Acuna?
Like, lo and behold, they're really good players playing in the Super Cup. You know, really good players that have won the Europa League. This is just how it is. But I think from the other side, this is what City play against all the time, especially in this sort of European competition. So yeah, I think Acuna has great experience, and I think they have another World Cup winner on the bench. But they don't have any treble winners in their team, do they? So as a consequence, I think City will have a ton of confidence, and I think, you know, they'll be all right. They won't be panicked about anything.
That's absolutely lovely. I love that treble reference. We will constantly keep making references pitchside to the treble as we can hear some atmosphere going on. I think there's a couple of players coming out to the pitch, etc. Let's talk about a man called Rakitic, who has had a great career in football, hasn't he, Shaun? And he's still going, and he's still great on the ball, and he's still dictating the style of play.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic career. Just the way he plays is just brilliant. The way he uses the ball, the way he's very hard working for quite an attacking midfielder in my opinion, and I love that about him. But he sees passes, and he also puts his foot in, which is a nice asset to have as a midfielder.
He is indeed a nice asset, and a man that we also saw in the Prem at some point was Eric Lamela at Spurs. He seems to have done really well at Sevilla. I mean, will he have a little bit of a point to prove coming against a Premier League side, trying to, you know, because it's easy when you leave a team in England and go to Spain that it's a bit negative towards you, and it was a little bit for it.
I don't know. Like, you know, as far as the career goes, not every moment is an up. And I think as a consequence, you try and play to the best of your abilities and see where that can get you. So I think the way that sort of some of us perceive him is different to the way he perceives himself. So I wouldn't necessarily think he's going to go out with a point to prove all the time, because if he's playing well, he knows he's playing well. He lifted silverware last season, and he's probably thinking he'll lift silverware again tonight, and then maybe again at the end of this season. So, you know, like I say, he's a very good player. He's a full international, and he's playing in the Super Cup. Lo and behold, he's half decent.
He is indeed half decent. So is Sevilla, because they've been there a lot of times. But last season we did play against them twice. We did manage to beat them twice. Does that play in their mind, Shaun? Will that play in their minds, or is it just a case of fresh start, new season, cup final, we go again?
I think it's always going to play in your mind as a player. Some people might say it doesn't, but I think somewhere in your mind it will be there. Whether it be a point where you're saying, no, we have to get them this time because they beat us twice, or we need to turn something around, we need to do better. So they know they're going to want to win it. Like Nedum said, it's a piece of silverware here that they want to win just as much as us. But like you said, when you got that 2-game win over them already, that's 100% going to be on their mind.
Yeah, I think so. And I think in regards to them in the Champions League, when City played against them, they were struggling domestically. So you could see that the Champions League in some ways wasn't necessarily a welcome distraction. They had things which they needed to focus on themselves, so we didn't see the best version of them. But 1 week into a season for them and for City, you get the idea that maybe anything goes.
And of course there is another Man City player who's not in the starting 11 for Sevilla, but is in the squad. That's Fernando. What are your memories of him in the City shirt, Nedum?
Yeah, Fernando is someone, you know, that I thought would stay for a while longer, but Fernandinho happened, you know, so as a consequence he couldn't quite necessarily shine the same way that he would have hoped and others would have hoped. But I think he came in, he did a good job, he served the club as well as, say, anyone else has done as well, but it just didn't quite work out, and that's the nature of football. But I'm sure he's very fond of Man City, but just maybe not for the 90 minutes today.
We had a very nice chance saying that we'll never get past Fernando at one point. Probably never get past Brownie in the studio as well, so let's head back there where Brownie and everybody else are.
Thanks so much to FG, to Shaun and to Nedum. So that's the Sevilla team for tonight's game. 8 p.m. kickoff here in the UK for tonight's Super Cup. And of course, name jumping out there, Jesus Navas. Loved Jesus Navas, loved him when he was here. And yes, no one got past you, Michael Brown, or if they did, you just pulled them back?
Well, occasionally. If it's a late tackle, if they get past you, you've got to make sure they don't get into an advanced positions. I think that's what FG was talking about. None of that these days now. These holding midfield players, Fernandinho didn't do that, did he? Or Rodri?
No, of course not,
no,
yes.
Never.
What's your memories of Jesus Navas?
I mean, you just look, the amount of times he played, I think that ability, it's amazing that he could be in such advanced positions that he could find himself more in a full-back position, sat in and waiting. So it'll be an interesting test for him. He'll be looking forward to it for certain. I think when you play your old team, you always want to do as well as possible. You're desperate not to lose the game. He's obviously come on the end of a couple of bad results already, so he'll be fearing the worst, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's an interesting one for me because obviously when he played for us, it was never a time where we never seemed to see him go inside. He was like that old-fashioned winger, stayed wide, got the ball to his feet, would go to the line. When he cut in, for me, when he used to cut inside, go inside on his left foot, he always seemed to pass back. But once he got the ball sort of on his feet, he was looking to deliver crosses. So I think Pep will know him better than most. So I'm sure that information will be passed on and say, this is how we can best stop him.
You can see the Sevilla team arriving there. I love those shots to the outside of the stadium. It looks absolutely beautiful there. Well, one man that certainly knows all about Sevilla, and we're really delighted to be joined by him again this evening. It is Spanish football expert Guillem Balaguer. Guillem, good evening. How are you?
I'm excited about this final, another final for Sevilla. Good game, a big game, even though some of us are still on holidays. But, these games are more enjoyable when we're on holidays, I think.
You're our lucky charm, of course, because you were on Matchday Live before the Real Madrid game. So I'm so happy you're here again.
Well, I don't know if it was that or the quality of the players, but anyway, if I helped, I'm glad I did.
Yes, we'll say you're now our official lucky charm. In terms of the Sevilla team tonight, of course, we know that they won the Europa League last year, which is, of course, the reason that they're here. They perhaps struggled a little bit in the league last season. And, of course, they had their opening game on Friday night in which they lost against Valencia, perhaps a Valencia team that many people are tipping to struggle this year. How do you see Sevilla currently and the season ahead for them?
It's not easy to predict because you actually have got players that have got a lot of quality, but they don't really do what deliver the manager that did so well last season in the Europa League and getting them out of a position in which for a while it seemed like they were fighting for relegation. He did that, tried to keep him, but he needs different players for what he wants to do. This is a man for player to the wing and crosses in and second balls and direct football. And the players that you're going to see today, even though they're changing a little bit to his way of doing things, they want the ball to the feet. They're not that quick running behind. It's not in their nature. So to mix that is not going to be easy. It worked when the target was very clear, getting out of relegation places. But in a day like today, I know they're going to be super competitive as they showed against Juventus and Manchester United and Roma, etc. But you have to say Manchester City are clear favourites.
They're so good in these cup competitions, in the knockout stages of the Europa League. They're so good, and obviously they've won it so many times. Do they thrive more on that kind of knockout cup situation than perhaps in a league?
There's a bit of sports psychology you have to apply here, which is we know that winning breeds winning, and the more you win, the more you end up winning. You, of course, attract better players if you have more money, but you also have been winning. If you walk into the stadium of Sevilla and the training ground and you see pictures of celebrations and 7 European leagues, all those things mean that they put a lot of emphasis in a competition that many don't take very seriously. At least in England, I would say. The rest of Europe, yes, they do. But Sevilla certainly do. This is the second team with the biggest amount of success in Europe in the 21st century. This is their 22nd final in the 21st century. How many people can say that? And it's down to all those things, the head, the context, and of course, eventually the quality of the player and the manager.
Gabe, I was just wondering, I've heard lots of interviews regarding you're speaking about Pep Guardiola and what he's done, his philosophy, etc. How important will this be for him? Because I'm just not sure how serious that it's been taken.
You know Pep Guardiola, and you know that you say, let's take this one seriously. If anybody suggests that, he's out of the room straight away. The key of Pep Guardiola, and this is not about this final in particular, but the kind of stories you hear of how it all works, how he meets every 3 months everybody in a very small room in the training ground that goes from chef to the waiters, to the physios, to everyone, and reminds everyone, let's keep pushing, it's about winning. You helping, everybody has to be on the toes. So you cannot go and say, well, the European Super Cup, don't worry about that. If you lose it, doesn't matter. So it's all about winning. But I'll tell you something else that I think the coaching staff are happy about at Manchester City. The 11 is very strong. The 11 is very, very strong. But the fact that there's been 5 injuries, some of them quite seriously, means that they worry that in the Premier League, in the league, when you cannot drop your level, when there are so many teams that can take points from others, it could be more of a struggle. But tonight, they're confident that that 11 and whoever else comes in later on would take the trophy.
For you, Guillaume, where are the key battles going to be tonight on the pitch?
I think the style is defined by Manchester City and by Sevilla as well. They don't want the ball. They're happy just to recover it at some point on the edge of the box if necessary. I don't think they will pressure high often. They will do it sometimes, but not often. And then once they recover the ball, try to find in the City or try to find somebody that can help them in front to actually hold the ball. The problem is you look at the lineup and really there aren't many of those players. So in the City will be important that you have the Manchester City holding midfielder, but also the centre backs close to him. And then, of course, the second thing that Sevilla will be good at is to get the ball as quickly as possible to the wings. Crosses will be put in. Defend that, and you will have advantage in Sevilla.
Thank you. Now, while we've got you, we also have to talk about, of course, the World Cup that's currently taking place down under. Of course, you will have your Spanish head and heart on. And of course, we've got Steph here in the studio with us as well. First of all, Spain, they've done phenomenal to get to the final.
And you know what, let me say this, a lot has to do with Johan Cruyff and a way of playing, how Barcelona embraced it, and how most of the players of Spain are from Barcelona, I think, from Barcelona Football Club, 7 of them, I think, in the semi-finals. But I think a lot has to do with the Premier League as well, and how some of these players ended up going to England, how some of them have come back physically stronger, how England have been winning things, and Beatles as well in the Euros, with more physicality, so force us to actually look into it. And I feel that even though Spain had not won a knockout stage yet, they started showing signs that there is a team that can create an era. And so has England. So in my eyes, the 2 best teams in the world right now, Spain beat Sweden, who had beaten the 2 last World Cup winners in the United States and Japan. So you are talking about what it will be, should be a very entertaining game in which both of them play in similar ways, and we put all the effort possible to get that historical trophy.
Steph, you must have been so proud today. I mean, especially of your teammates as well. I mean, Lauren Hemp was just sensational.
Yeah, she was absolutely amazing. And just to reach that final for England, having been knocked out in the last 2 semi-finals and being so close. But I think, to play against Spain is going to be a tough game. I think they're so technical, and a lot of the girls have played against each other. Obviously, you've got Kira Walsh and Lucy Bronze who play at Barcelona, so I think there's going to be some important matchups. But it's a World Cup final and anything can happen, and both teams seem to be hitting form as well.
What's your head saying, Guillaume?
I'm going to enjoy Sunday, whatever happens. I'm the chairman of a football club in England, Biggleswade United, and we're going to open the clubhouse at 10 o'clock in the morning. I thought it was going to be for coffee and biscuits, but the secretary said, it's the World Cup final. There will be beer as well. Okay, from 10 o'clock in the morning, everybody will have a good time. And we've got some Spanish players and coaches who will join us, and everybody else will be English. So it'll be a fun day. And I think that's what the World Cup has been. You look at obviously we're not there, I'm not there, but the images where you see that everybody's having a really good time, and that will be continued in a lot of houses in England, certainly, and beautiful for sure.
Yes, I cannot wait. Are you going to? How are you going to watch, Steph?
I actually haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I'm going to have to think of my plans over the next few days. We're off, so we'll be watching it somewhere definitely.
We need someone to throw a party or something.
Yeah,
for
no.
us.
Anybody want to throw a party? No, come and watch.
Yeah,
World Cup party.
Give us all an invite. That'd be lovely. Guillaume, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate your time, and we do hope again that you're another lucky charm for us.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you so much. Of course, Spanish football expert Guillaume Balaguer there joining us. Cannot wait for that World Cup final. Just
so exciting.
What a day, what a day. The time difference is so different. Have you managed to speak to any of your teammates?
Yeah, straight after the game, obviously we've got the group chat going, and then obviously messaged Chloe, Alex, because I thought Alex was amazing today. And obviously the superstar Lauren Hemp. I think it was our pep talk that we gave her the other day, me and Sandy. But no, absolutely made up for them all. And they've just got to go and win it now. I think when you get to that stage and you get to a final, it's just you've got to bring the trophy home. So fingers crossed they do that.
Yes, fingers crossed. We're so proud of them all. Cannot wait for that this weekend. Now, we of course have Nedum Onuoha and Shaun Wright-Phillips out in Greece. Now, just like we like to make FG work, we like to make them work. Although I'm reading this now thinking, was this really work? Are we actually making them work when they're out there? Because we sent them on a bargain hunt.
Hey guys, we're in Monastraki Square and we are doing the Flea Market Challenge, and I am joined by Manchester City legend Shaun Wright-Phillips and another Manchester City legend, Nedum Onuoha. Guys, time for the challenge. Let me explain the rules to you. You've got €20 each. This is my own money, so keep a hold of it.
Okay, blood from it.
And I'm going to give you guys 3 different clues, okay? And you are going to go and use the clue and find the item from the shop. Are you ready for clue number 1? King of the ancient Greek gods on Mount Olympus.
Okay.
Do you know the answer?
Don't worry about that. I'm just going to show you my shopping
Okay,
tactics.
so if that's the case, I'm going to follow one of you, and I'm going to go with Nedum first.
Thank God for that.
In fact, I'm going with Shaun. Shaun, let's go, and let's go and find the first one. Talk me through it. Let's go. Lead me to the way.
Let's have a look in here.
I
don't think you realise
For €5.
He used to be Zeus.
Bargain.
Greek gods are very expensive.
I'm taking the €10.
What? Where's everyone?
Is that my Zeus, yeah?
So right, here we are. Challenge number 1's done.
Yeah.
I want you to flex your items. I want you to get them out. All right, well, I can confirm you've got the right item.
Okay.
Congratulations, show that to camera. Looking good. And then we've also got an even bigger one.
Daddy.
From Shawnee, right. But we had good vibes. All right.
You gotta give that to me.
We had a great time, but I am going to give it to Nedum because firstly, he was back in the square, already taking photos with fans. I thought that was a really good round from you both, but let's move straight on to round number 2. Clue number 2, an image of an ancient citadel that looks over Athens.
No. Come on, let's go.
Isn't that the Acropolis? I feel that's the Acropolis.
I can't let him beat me, can I? Oh no, there's a queue.
Just to confirm, it is a race against time and it is a budget challenge.
Yes. Now I just got to power walk back quick as possible.
Do you know what? No, it's okay. Do you know what? Keep the change. Keep the change. No problem.
Do you want to go and try and hunt him down? We can see him. We can see a little jog.
Oh God.
Let's take a look.
I think I like my one because it's like
Look,
got
you
shiny
like
aspects.
the one that you picked?
It's got a little shiny aspect.
I ended up spending 2, but it's because I gave a 50-cent tip.
I remember that celebration you did, against Arsenal, you know, sort of fell on the floor.
Because I was tired.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm tired of you, mate. That's a bit for you, Shawnee. Well done. We are level going into the final one, though. Clue number 3. Wave the colours of Greece.
Okay.
What do you think you need?
Something blue, something white. Probably a flag.
So there's your answer.
I'm about to splurge. Here.
Hello?
Oh, you've got this as well. Oh, wow.
Hello? See? This is conspiracy. This was a setup by Nedum and Manchester City to make me lose and get back last.
Do you think you could do that for 10?
With one.
Yes, that would be perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is so elite. I'm so elite right now.
Oh, he's not here, I'm running.
I've tried my best to, come to Athens, I've tried my best to, stay under the radar, not get anything too silly, not do anything too silly, but still, somehow, here I am.
He's got a hat.
Okay, look, I'm going to give you guys at home watching in the studio and everyone in the Matchday Live studio a chance to vote. But Nedum, you've got 10 seconds to look into the camera and try and sell yourself.
He's already sold himself.
Wave the colours of Greece, okay? I have a flag and I can wave said flag. Ricey is wearing a flag and not very well. Look at that. How is that waving the flag of
to
Greece?
be honest, I was wearing it properly before, but when you're the champion, you can do certain things and just tie it around your neck. It's done and dusted, isn't it?
Don't forget to vote on all socials, on Matchday Live, everything. Let's see who your winner is.
Okay, I don't know why I found that so amusing, but Shaun Goater's running with the Greece flag around. I just loved it. Who are we thinking? Shaun, who do you think was the winner?
I think Nedum, because he's calm, he's cool. I think also he wasn't sweating.
Okay.
I was going to say Righty for the reason that he was sweating.
He tried hard there, didn't he?
Sprinting around there.
Are you saying Righty?
No, I'm going to say draw.
Oh, Brownie, come on, you can't sit on the fence.
So, no, hear me out. Yeah. You've gone and said Nedum. You've said Righty, I've said the draw.
Oh,
we've got one more to go, haven't we not?
It's all right, I think it was an easy one. I think it was Righty and with Steph. I think I liked his enthusiasm at the end. I liked his big scarf, his big flag.
Right.
Yes, he was giving it. He was running. He had the energy.
Just remember, he voted you out, Nedum. Whenever you see this, just remember.
Who sat on the fence?
You can let us know as well, who do you think deserved it? Who do you think won our bargain hunt challenge? Was it Shaun Phillips or was it Nedum Onuoha? Let us know on the WhatsApp there. Number is on the bottom of your screen. You can also send in some questions for us as well. But well done to the guys there. I don't know what I was expecting, but I found it highly amusing. So thank you so much to them all. Of course, we are in tonight's Super Cup because of that historic Champions League victory that we had back in June. Now, we thought it'd be nice just to, keep talking about it, keep enjoying it. And we thought we'd have a look back at some of those decisive games in that route to the final and, of course, winning the final to pick up that trophy. We picked out 4 games that we think were the kind of real decisive ones in it. I think you'll all agree as well. So I'm going to take you back, first of all, to the group stage. We had the game, of course, against Dortmund that had all of the links with Haaland, the story all behind it. And do you remember, it was getting a little bit heated, a little bit tough. It was a draw. We were starting to get nervous. We never should have been nervous though, Shaun, because Erling Haaland popped up with an incredible 84th minute winner, which of course we can all enjoy again. How he got his leg that high, I'll never know. It was a spectacular moment for him.
It really was. I mean, the pass from João Cancelo outside his foot, but then the finish to also match the beauty of that pass. It was one of those, he was very conscious, he's playing against his teammates, didn't have a lot of room or space throughout the game. I think that was probably the only half.
You learnt that off Shaun Goater Steph.
Decent.
That was like a young Goater in his prime.
I'd love to say
How
that
high
I
could your leg get up, Shaun?
I'd have got nowhere near that, I have to say. I think he's the only player that would have gotten to that, and that's the exception of him as a player, to be able to reach that.
It was just made for it though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You were watching the game back and you're thinking, where is he? What's going to happen? And then for that, and the way he's finished, the ball was sensational, by the way, as well. It was a world-class ball into him, but just an amazing. I think that was one of the iconic goal of where he sort of just in that position just tells you everything. And then from then on, whenever the cross come in any game, you felt like he could get on the end of it. Still did it now. He's missed a couple just by inches. You feel like he can get on, but it's a wonderful finish.
Yeah. I feel like I could just watch that goal over and over, Steph. And every time I watch it, I still think, how has he got his leg that high?
Yeah, I mean, he's unbelievable in them situations. Like what Shaun said before, he's probably one of the only strikers in the world that can finish a goal like that. But that Cancelo ball, to be able to just do that with the outside of your foot with one step and put the pace on that and it had to take something special to beat Dortmund that day, I think. And sometimes them games are written in the stars for players that have played for all teams. It was always going to be Haaland scoring that goal.
When you watch that finish, a lot of when the balls come across and over your head like that, it would more have been like an overhead right-footed finish guiding it back.
Yeah.
So actually to go like the way he did, it was a bizarre finish.
But excellent.
Yeah, it really did feel like one of those, like you say, written in the stars. It was going to happen, and it was a magical. I don't know if you were in the stadium that night. It was a magical night in the stadium. The Etihad was something different last season, especially in the European nights. And I just remember that moment, that when it was incredible. So we've had that as one of our decisive 4 games in the Champions League run. That was a group stage game. So of course, then we get through to the knockouts, and I remember we were here. We did the show for the draw, and when Bayern Munich came out, I remember thinking, oh gosh, we're going to have to do it the hard way. Well,
it was the worst, that draw, wasn't it?
It really was.
I was
right?
sat here and I'm thinking, oh no, look at what's ahead. I mean, it looked like almost it wasn't meant to be again for City, and if they did it, it was going to be the best way of doing it, to beating those, the 2 on the way, and it was just like iconic, really, wasn't it?
And then why did we ever doubt them? Because Bayern Munich come here and we blew them away, Shaun. 3-0, of course. There was another Rodri goal, which was just sensational, which we'll get to see. But it was just, for me, it was that moment where I was like, my goodness, we're really good.
Yeah, I mean, this sensational, and I think when we were talking about goal of the season, this may have been if not won it. But this just shows you the quality of him. His right foot, he strikes it well. His left foot, he just gets it out of his feet. And this is what he's added to his game. In big games, he's scoring big goals. And this is,
if you watch the strike, though, he's not like pinged it. Do you know where he's like hit it with the legs? He's like curled it around, which is really, really tough to get that power, that accuracy. But he knew exactly, used a player and guided it all the way around. That was a really, really difficult finish. And he was sort of...
In that game, though, as well, the first 25 minutes was quite even. I don't think neither team kind of got a hold of it until Rodri scores that, and sometimes it just takes a player, and that was his competition. The Champions League for Rodri was his competition. I mean, to score the winner in the final, but also to score a goal is important, and that against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, after that, kind of just fell, and then that was just City getting back into the rhythm again.
There must be so many kids around the world doing that Rodri knee slide now. You can see it.
Trademark,
I do it in training, but no one sees
I reckon you can show us a go. I reckon you've got that.
Go, be careful.
Yeah, another time.
Be careful. You're too important here on this sofa, go. Another one of those nights at the Etihad for me that I remember just being spine-tingling. And it felt like a really pivotal moment because of how dominant we ended up winning, how dominant the performance was in the end, Brownie. Did you have a moment after it where you really took a moment to realise that was Bayern Munich and we just dismantled them?
I think it just got better and better, didn't it? I think that the confidence grew. I think you come up against those particular teams, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and you're wondering, are we good enough? And I think over the last couple of seasons, I felt the team, the crowd, the group, the club, everybody felt like this was becoming normal. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it wasn't phased anymore. You look and you go, right, we need a bit of luck. The draw's against us slightly, of what's going to happen. But I just felt, and just watching the players walk into this game, they didn't seem phased. They felt like they could go on and win. They felt comfortable. Felt like, you still can't control every game, but they're going into it saying, we can win. We believe we'll win. We believe we're better. And I think that's been the biggest turn of the corner, where the players are composed in these difficult situations, and ultimately, you can see why no one can touch them and no one wants to play them at the moment.
Very, very much so. So, of course, we beat Bayern Munich and we go into the semi-finals against Real Madrid, of course, that old foe, Real Madrid, that had knocked us out the previous year. And, of course, I've forgotten how many times they've won the Champions League now. Not only did we beat them, we gave one of the best team performances that I think any of us may have ever seen in another magical moment at the Etihad. What another night. Shaun, I actually still think I can't believe how good we were that night.
Absolutely phenomenal. The way we started, the tempo, the quality, Real Madrid just wasn't at the races. And that was because of how we played, how we controlled the ball, the game, the quality. Every player was at the levels that they needed to be. The funny story was I wasn't in the stadium watching the game. I was actually on a flight.
Where were you going?
I was actually going to Argentina for the Under-20s World Cup. But I'm on the flight watching, and I'm making all kinds of noise on this flight. Oh, wow. And halfway through, Wi-Fi goes down.
No.
I tell you not, Wi-Fi goes down, and I'm getting everybody to get the Wi-Fi up. But I didn't see it until the next morning because they just had loads of troubles. But I ended up watching it again, and we were just sensational. We really were. And I just thought, you beat Bayern Munich, you play Real Madrid, you dismantle them. I'm thinking, bring it. I'm just thinking, bring it on. And the game in the finals obviously turns out the way it did, but I wasn't too fussed about, and I'm sure City fans, that we didn't play wow. It was about just getting the result. But I thought once you get across those two, I'm sure City, but there's some City fans that would have been nervous about it, but I felt really confident about it.
I can only imagine you on a flight watching that game, by the way, Shaun.
Do you think that was the biggest moment so far, for Manchester City?
Yeah.
In that performance? And the way in the people's faces,
the mindset shift change.
And just the stadium, you're like, is this really happening?
I think for me the biggest thing is that Man City in the Etihad in a Champions League, they've realised that can be like what the Bernabeu is to Real Madrid when City played them the year before. It becomes an intense atmosphere, and it kind of like you've lost before you've even started, and especially that night. City, especially the first 45 minutes, were absolutely amazing. They couldn't deal with anything that City gave them. Bernardo Silva was amazing. Kyle Walker on the right-hand side. Vinicius wasn't even in the game. So, for me, being in that stadium with the girls watching this, it was just absolutely amazing.
Look at the face. I think it was one of the best games that you'd ever go to, wouldn't you? To see a domination of
against Real Madrid, who have won,
and Real Madrid, you say, of what it's meant. It was just like, I just can remember the joy on everyone's face. It was incredible. This is really happening. It was amazing.
I just didn't think it was. I remember I just kept going, what's going on? Oh my goodness.
Is it real? Is it real?
Is it real? It was like, definitely what we were all saying. And I totally agree with you, Steph. The atmosphere again that night.
Even after the game, I remember walking back and we were just all singing songs. Johnny Stones was probably the biggest one. But I don't know, I think it was more like, not even the scoreline, it was more the performance, the fact that Real Madrid, who were known for keeping the ball, just couldn't get the ball off us. No matter what they tried, it was just, no, it's just not happening.
Absolutely. Johnny Stones was sung, but of course so was We Are Going to Istanbul, and we did indeed go to Istanbul, and
we did.
We did. We had a good time in Istanbul. And of course that man, Rodri, popped up again to make us champions of Europe. How many times have you all seen this now, by the way? How many times have you watched it?
Not enough.
Not enough is the yes.
It was getting tense though, did you not think? In the stadium it was just getting a little bit tense.
Steph, was it?
No, let me just remind you, never watch a game with Natalie in the last 20 minutes of this was...
And it was just starting to feel like, because everyone was so confident, weren't they, going into, I felt like everybody was saying, like, City are going to win comfortably, and it just got really, really tight. Is something going to happen here? And I just thought it was bang on time, wasn't it? Just to actually ease the nerves, and it was brilliant for him. For somebody like that, for me, who I played in the middle of the pitch. You do a lot of work, you don't always get the rewards. We've seen that wonderful strike before, but isn't it nice for him to get that after the season and the improvement that he'd had? And I thought he deserved it all round.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable evening.
These two think it should go to another position.
Yes.
That's what
I totally agree with what you say. I think Rodri is an exceptional player. I think
unselfish.
We've just gone from strength to strength when we look at that role in that position. There was a point when I thought, how can you get better than Fernandinho? And he somehow has done this. And I'm thinking, how? Because Fernandinho was just the best.
Amazing.
And he's just come and he's just delivered big goals in big games, controls it. For me, he's the first name down in Pep's team. He's still vital in terms of coming up with big goals, how he controls the game, but also set pieces. It's just so much to his game. He's really phenomenal.
Is he your favourite player now? We've had
you
this
know
chat
that, bro. Hey? You know that. I got about 11 favourites.
I thought it was Foden.
Hey? Foden, Rodri. Hey? Don't get me started with my favourites.
You are still the best hype man around, without a doubt. Of course, we went on, we won the Champions League, we won the treble. Anyone else still get goosebumps every single time we say that? And of course, winning that Champions League is the reason that we are here this evening. Do you think it's funny as well? It occurs to me, of course, that we beat Sevilla in the group stage, which meant that they ended up in third, which meant that they qualified for the Europa League, which they then went on to win, which is why they're here. So they're here because we beat them, and they won the Europa League because we beat them. because I feel like they owe us a thanks.
Do you think they'll be saying thanks to really believe that? So,
thanks for beating us.
Or they might be thinking, really, do we have to play City again?
Yeah.
Do we really?
Yeah. Well, hey, hopefully that's what they're thinking, but I'm sure they're going to make a game of it this evening. So we've got FG over pitchside, of course, in Greece. Now, I am suddenly insanely jealous of FG like I never have been before, because not only is he joined by Joleon Lescott, he's only gone and found himself one of my absolute all-time heroes. It's Ali McCoist.
Yes, welcome back to Pitchside on Matchday Live. We are joined by birthday boy Joleon Lescott. Joleon, happy birthday. And for the first time on Matchday Live, Ali McCoist. So great to see you here.
Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Smashing. Looking forward to it.
It's absolutely amazing. That voice is so iconic. Joleon, we'll come to you first. Of course. You are iconic as a whole. Joleon, let's come to you first. Let's talk about the Super Cup. You've been here for a couple of days now. How's it been in Athens, the atmosphere?
Yeah, very calm atmosphere. Excitable, obviously, for obvious reasons. Another trophy at stake in regards to the build-up. Obviously played here before myself as well. Didn't go that well, so hopefully a better performance and a better result for the Man City boys tonight.
Before we get into the Super Cup talk, let's talk about Joleon and let's talk about how you see Joleon. We'll do vice versa as well.
Well, I don't know. It's not normally my style. I normally talk about him behind his back. I always find it a lot safer. The big fella's great company. We've had a good couple of days so far, and hopefully the game will go well tonight. No, but it's good company. You won't hear me say a bad thing against them.
We tried, okay? We did try.
Well, birthday after all.
Set him up, yeah.
Joleon, let's talk about Ali. As a player, a serial goal scorer, right?
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, seen him a lot in his younger days. Iconic era for Rangers football, and obviously someone I know due to a friendship as well. Kenny Miller, an ex-teammate of mine, you speak very highly of him as a goal scorer and as a person, and now we all know the voice. As you said, he's very iconic.
It is indeed, but you're actually an iconic footballer as well. European Golden Boot winner. You're in good... Well, Erling Haaland's in great company because he's alongside you. What do you make of him?
I mean, he's a machine. Absolute machine. The game on Friday night, for example, I'm sitting watching the game on Friday night, and I've got 5 boys, right? So our house is just total football. However, one of my older boys was watching it with his mates, and after 5 minutes, the text came through, he's just ridiculous. and he is. That's what he is. He'll get involved in a link-up play if he has to. But he just wants to position himself for a finish, because that's what he does, and that's what he's brilliant at. The second finish on Friday night, but he's got every finish. He's got back post headers, he's got tap-ins, he's powerful enough, he's quick enough to run through. He is, and you've not heard it for the first time, he is the real deal.
As a defender, Joleon, this is the impossible question, which I imagine you've been asked many times. But I mean, we've seen you play recently. You've still got it. We saw it in the charity game. How do you defend, or even try to defend against a machine that is Erling Haaland?
Listen, I don't think you do it as an individual. We've seen many defenders struggle and not succeed. I think Inter Milan did a relatively good job, but they did it collectively and also nullifying the threat. I don't think you stop world-class players on their own. I think you have to restrict the supply chain, and that obviously then can frustrate them. But like Ali said, he gets involved when he needs to. He doesn't kind of get bored in regards to not having a touch, but if it's in the box, he tends to be there.
He tends to be there, indeed. Let's hope he's there tonight. Let's talk about Sevilla real quick. And they've been here before on many occasions. They've only actually won on one occasion, which is...
Yeah, I mean, I think they've lost their last 5 Super Cup games. Now, I'm not wanting to tempt fate and all that, but you can look at it the other way. The fact that they've been here 6 times, they know the course and distance. They're a good side, typical Spanish side. The ball retention will be good. They were comfortable on the ball. I know City gave them a going over, actually. It was the City's first game in the wonderful campaign last year. I think they beat them 4-0 there. I think it'll be a different game, but I certainly seen City being too strong. But their record's excellent. As I said, they've lost the last 5. But I think the other thing that would go in City's favour, if you go by statistics, I think I'm tempting fate here. I think 9 out of the last 10. I've just turned into a stat man. Yeah. 9 out of the last 10 the Champions League winners have won. However, the last one to do it was Atletico Madrid, who were a Spanish side. I think City will be okay.
Jolien, how do you... Oh, Ali, I hope you haven't jinxed us on your debut on MATCHDAY.
You won't be coming back.
You'll be welcome back as long as there's no fuss.
2 appearances in the one night, my first and my last.
Yeah. No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Jolien, do you think Sevilla are just going to sit behind the ball and just sort of try and hit us on the counter-attack, or is there any key players in there that you could see?
No, they have a work ethic. They'd like to frustrate the game, play at their tempo, and I think it's more of a difficult game now for us in regards to it being a final. I think it was over 2 legs. I think more confident over the 2 legs, City scoring enough goals, but the fact that it's a final, you know anything can happen, and as I said, they have a style that is unique to their players and obviously can frustrate the style and the tempo of the game.
We're very, very good in finals anyway under Pep Guardiola as a whole. Not trying to tempt fate here. Ali, you've said that City are going to hopefully win the game today. Jolien, how do you see it going?
Yeah, I'm confident. Listen, both at early stage of the season and off the back of the Burnley game, City look like a lot more in rhythm than Seville, closer to where they want to be. There's obviously injuries and selection dilemmas for both teams, but yeah, I'm confident City win the game.
Well, Jolien, thank you for taking the time at your birthday celebrations and joining us on MATCHDAY. Ali, an absolute pleasure. Thank you for
inviting me. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Let's head back. It doesn't get much better than this, does it?
Oh, it really doesn't. We are trying in the studio, though. We're doing well in the studio. But Ali McCoy, sorry, everybody. I love Ali McCoy making his MATCHDAY Live debut. Hopefully he hasn't jinxed us and we can indeed have him back there. Thanks so much to FG. And, of course, a big happy birthday to Jolien Lescott as well. He is celebrating his birthday out there. If City win, I'm sure he's going to be starting some heck of a party. Or in fact, he'll probably just have a heck of a party anyway. Thank you so much for sending in your WhatsApp questions. I'm going to try and get through some of them now. And the first one has come from Jasur. And Steph, it's for you. And Jasur would like to know, what is your favourite Man City men's team goal of all time?
You're not going to use an easy one, are you?
I have to.
Surely not. You're not.
Now you've got in my
You're going
head.
to think of something different. You're not going to use the obvious one.
No, you know what? I was actually going to use the obvious one of Aguero when we won the league, of course. But I was actually going to say Gundogan's goal against Villa, the last game of the season, last year, just because I was there at the stadium and we didn't play that well that day, but yeah, I mean, just the atmosphere and just the moment of just scoring the goal that wins you the Premier League title, and the pitch invasion after was amazing. So,
did you invade the pitch?
No, I didn't. Yeah. I was up in, I don't know where I was.
She sat at the crossbar.
Yeah, that was me sliding my knees. What I was doing later.
Thank you so much for the question, Jasur. We have a question from Dougie. Love this question, Dougie, because we haven't had a chance to talk about Rico Lewis this evening yet. How impressed have you been with Rico Lewis since he joined the first team?
Well, I think it's been an incredible journey, hasn't it, for a young player. And we talk about, there he is now, patting the badge. He got a new contract as well, is that right? Very well deserved, you've got to say. And do you know the maturity that he had so quickly for a young player in a Pep Guardiola team to be able to play in different positions, not only just in the position, you have to go and rotate into a midfield area, which is comfortable to take the ball. That'll be the most difficult thing. And we've seen players struggle who, you know, right throughout Pep Guardiola's reign at Manchester City, but he's done it at a young age to be able to slot in the middle, on the turn, knowing where to go, where to leave, when to go back into the back four when needed, at right back and at left back. I mean, incredible talent, and you know, he must be thinking at this age, how am I getting in this side? But he's deserved all the minutes he's had. Incredible.
He put up the cutest pictures on his social media as well. There was a little him, I don't know how old he was, with a little trophy, a City trophy, and then there was a picture of him signing, which I think will have been for the under-9s, and then a picture of him now as well. I mean, just the fact as well that he's come all the way through the academy as well, Shaun, just for fans, it just makes it feel even that more special.
That much more special, and as Bruyne said, I mean, he's got the intelligence to play in that right-back role the way Pep wants, and Pep sometimes asks his fullbacks to go inside, and you've got to have an awareness and see the defenders coming from different angles, but also be able to make those right decisions, when to retain the ball, when to go forward, when to drive forward. His brain is of just a really mature player. So really pleased that, again, he's got a contract as well. But Pep doesn't just do favours for favours. I mean, he's had to earn himself being in and around the team. So well done to him, and well done to all the academy coaches for the part they play with the young players we develop. Some really good talent coming through.
Yeah, of course, Rico Lewis got a contract extension this week, taking him to 2028. Love to see that. And of course, that goal you saw was his debut goal against Sevilla as well. So thank you for the question there, Dougie. We've had a question from Morgan. Everyone's probably thinking this, Morgan. Who do we think is the best replacement for KDB while he's injured? What do you think, Steph? I'm going to come to you as well now,
we were just saying before, you actually can't replace him. Like, the things that Kevin De Bruyne does, there's no one in the world can do that, never mind in the Man City team. I think to replace him, it might be a way of playing a little bit different, which I think Kovacic is probably going to be that more of a natural replacement to come in. But I feel like someone like Bernardo, like, I feel as though he's just a type of player that can kind of grab a hold of the game and kind of just make things happen in that midfield area. But
I don't know what you think. I don't think there's another player like him.
No.
And that's what, not only is he unbelievable at what he does, there's nobody else can actually do that. And that, I mean, I'm trying to think of any, try to actually think of anybody who can actually do that role. The whole team have got to contribute in different areas to maybe make a more of a risk pass that a Kevin De Bruyne would. So we might see a little bit of that going forward, or a wide player going past people a little bit more, because you haven't got that opening where it comes to a Kevin De Bruyne. There's more than enough ability in the squad to win every game for sure, but to replace him.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way and how I see it being replaced is a whole different way, meaning a Foden, somebody that can dribble and go cross players. It wouldn't be any way that De Bruyne will hurt a team, because De Bruyne can hurt a team almost anywhere on the field with his quality of passing, whether it's wide, whether it's central. But again, it will be a different way. It will be, say, Foden, or it could be Cole Palmer delivering crosses for Haaland that's going to have to contribute. But yeah, I can't think of a player that really can find that killer pass the way he does. I mean, he's just got exceptional vision.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question there, Morgan. Thank you for sending in all your questions. I will try and get through some as well at half-time and full-time. Now, while they've been over in Greece, we sent the lads to meet some special fans from our Athens official supporters club.
I'm Angelos Anastasopoulos, a big, lovely Greek name. Back in 1999, I'm in Manchester for a student exchange program, and they told me there's a game at Main Road, and I go there. We lose 1-0, and still there's 30,000 people cheering for the team. And I said, yeah, this is my team, and I started following City ever since I was 13. During the bad times, and during the glory days now.
I am John Andriotis, and what really got me into Manchester City was the culture of Manchester, the music. I love the Smiths, I love the Stone Roses, I love Oasis, of course, and that's the reason that I support Manchester City.
My name is Konstantinos, and I'm a big fan of Oasis, and the Gallagher brothers showed me the way to love the city and the team.
It was my first trip to Manchester in Boxing Day 2013, and it just so happened that me and my father stayed at the same hotel with the squad and that day, and I got the chance to meet Edin Dzeko, and it felt amazing. It was a great guy, a lovely fellow, and it was great seeing him face to face, I guess.
I think one of my earliest memories of supporting my city is David Silva running past some United defenders. I remember we lost in that game, but I was so passionate about how David Silva was playing with the ball. So yeah, this is my earliest memory. I remember becoming a better fan from that point onwards.
I think it was the 14th of May 2011. I'm at Wembley for the FA Cup final. We're about to win the first major trophy after 35 years. And then it happens, and I see the banner, 0 years.
I mean, it's got to be that Aguero moment, 93-20. I was about to quit football before that goal went in, after all of that crazy season, be so close, we just had to beat QPR, and we're losing the title to United of all teams. But yeah, that goal went in, and so many emotions just exploded that moment.
Most people will say that it's either the Aguero moment or the treble. For me, it was Kompany's rocket of a shot against Leicester. I haven't celebrated a goal more than that in my life, so we were all screaming in the club. It was an amazing experience.
Ήταν εκπληκτικό συναίσθημα να βλέπεις την ομάδα να κατακτάει το treble. Εννοείται ήμασταν στο Atatürk Stadium. Όταν ο Ρόντρι σκόραρε δεν μπορώ να το περιγράψω αυτό το συναίσθημα, να βλέπεις όλο αυτόν τον κόσμο να πανηγυρίζει, να είσαι μέσα σε αυτούς και να έχεις δώσει το παρόν τη στιγμή που η ομάδα γράφει την ιστορία της. Δεν θα ξεχάσω ποτέ τα τελευταία λεπτά που μέτραγα αντίστροφα και έλεγα τι μπορεί να πάει λάθος και να χαθεί αυτό το treble.
At some point, when we scored that goal, I'm thinking to myself, I saw that team losing to York. I saw that team fighting to get a point against Crew Alexandra. And we're here now. And it's magnificent. I'm getting the goosebumps right now.
To keep dominating in domestic cups, in the Premier League, in the Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup, to continue producing exemplary talents from the Youth Academy, to continue having a sense of identity. So all in all, I just wish success and proving we're the best on the pitch.
I know we're gonna win the league this year. I don't know, since as long as we have Pep and the board and the vision that they have, to continue making history and having all this success over and over again, I'm not too worried about the future, I guess. Yeah.
My message to all the Man City fans are that even if we're not in Manchester, even if we're not there every weekend, we are singing our hearts out every time we're watching City or we are at the stadium.
Yes, welcome back to pitchside. It's time for our final thoughts, gents. Shaun, first ever Super Cup. How do you see it going for us?
I'm very, very excited about it, to be honest with you. Me and Nedum obviously spoke earlier, and Nedum made a valid point. He didn't think it would be an open-ended game. And I just think it's going to be more of a football IQ game and a bit more tactical in respects of that and keeping the ball. And like Nedum said, it's still early in the season, so people are still getting all their minutes in.
They are definitely still getting their minutes in, but I mean, we've played 3 games and 2 of them have been cup finals.
That's wild, isn't it? Yeah.
It's crazy when you look at something like that. And the preparation for this game, how much will it differ to sort of like the Burnley game?
I don't know, but I think in pre-season, when the fixtures come out and you know what your first fixture is as such, it's in your mind. It's the first league fixture and you can't jump ahead to any others. You could argue for City that was the Community Shield, but once that was done, they've already focused in on Burnley. And once that was done, they focused in on this. This is how they do it. This is how they're so successful. They've never jumped too far ahead. So I think for me, it's a case of making sure that they travelled at the right times, they train the right ways, they try to stay out of the sun because it's been so hot over these last few days, and they're prepared. They know the opposition. And they know what they need to do to try and beat them, so hopefully they can just put in a good performance.
Absolutely, a good performance indeed. Have you got anyone that you're going to watch out for? I mean, it's easy to say our number 9 is going to be the star, but is there anyone else that you think will have a really good performance here tonight?
To be honest, I'm a winger, so I'm going to really be looking at Cole Palmer today. I know how exciting he can be, and I'm hoping he gets in those positions where he can take on the defender one-on-one and give Acuna a run for his money.
It's massive for confidence, isn't it, Nedum, where Pep sort of putting him into a Super Cup, in the first Super Cup final the club's been in a potentially historic evening for us. Massive for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's probably like a lot of us who never thought we'd be standing here with this trophy next to us with a game going behind now, which is going to be the Super Cup. But he's been selected, he's earned the right to be in that spot, and I'm sure he's ready to play in that. He's played in big games before. He's a European under-21 champion. He's scored at Wembley, and for most of us thought that was going to be the winner. So he's set. He's been at City a long time. He's been with this group of players a long time. He's been the manager a long time. So even though he's kind of inexperienced with moments like this, so's everyone really. But I think he'll play well today.
I hope he does, definitely. Let's talk about this heat, because it is no joke. It is very, very humid, even still at this time. As a player, Shaun, if you're playing in this heat, how much does it affect you?
I actually loved it, to be honest. I didn't have to do a warm-up if I was sub. You just roll on the pitch and get on with it. But no, it is hard. I think that's why we said that it won't be that quick of a game, because I think people will want to keep the ball and control the game, which City do very well anyway. So I think for me there will be a lot of Seville players running around trying to get the ball off City. And if it stays that way and City play the way we know they can play, Seville might burn out before the 90 minutes just because of the humidity and the heat.
And this stadium is absolutely rocking. Our goalkeepers are just coming out behind us. Before we head back, Nedum, let me get your quick score prediction.
You love a score prediction. You have to stop this. This is bad from you.
You've not had one right yet.
Well, you're right. But yeah, I reckon there've been a lot of signs around the city that say City 4, City 4, and I don't know what it means. But today I'm going to say City 4, Seville 2.
And Shaun, you're not getting away with it either, mate. What's your score prediction?
2-0 Man City.
Well, let's hope for a historic night. We will be back, hopefully at post-match, but let's head back to the studio.
Thank you to FG, to Sean Wright-Phillips and to Nedum Onuoha for the wonderful post-match pitchside coverage for tonight's game. We are very close now, about 7 minutes away from kick-off. And of course, the best place to get your commentary for tonight's game is on the City app. It is Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison who will be taking you through tonight's game. Full match commentary on the City app. We've only got a couple of minutes left. It's gone super fast as always. But Sean, we've had a good think about it now. We've heard about both teams, so close to kick-off. What are you kind of thinking about? What sort of game are you expecting?
Highly technical game. Both teams wanting to control the ball. City, I think, will dominate. And with that, I think City will win the game fairly comfortable. But at the same time, Sevilla are a really good team, so can allow them to sort of get a head of steam in the game.
What's your score prediction?
3-1 City.
3-1 to City. Steph, what are you going for?
3-0 City.
Yeah. Feeling confident?
Clean sheet, yeah.
OK.
Just look at the dressing rooms already, isn't it? Waiting, all the players. Looks nice and neat. Oh,
looks lovely.
I think they've got to keep the ball, haven't they, in this heat. They've got to be patient, as expected. They might not want to come forward and be too open too early. But, no, this City should go on and win comfortably, you would hope, you would expect. And now you're going to ask me my score prediction.
I certainly am.
Terrible. What do I do? Did you say 3-1?
3-1.
That's killed me, because that's what I might have
You can have it. You don't have to have
No, I
different.
can't have the same, can I? I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1. Somebody had really gorgeous shin pads there. Did you see? It looked like they had pictures of their kids on the
Were they Phil Ford
on the shin pads. I loved it. And that is, of course, the beautiful trophy that we will, of course, be hopefully bringing home with us after tonight's game. Thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live. We will all be back here with you at half-time and at full-time, of course. Now get onto the City app if you're not already there for your full match commentary with Alistair Mann and with the wonderful Andy Morrison. Enjoy the game, Blues.
Well, thank you, Natalie. Another day